Alright, hey, so this is going to be a small tutorial on cutting out things. I haven't really made a video in a really long time, so I'm sorry if this is kind of poorly formatted, but hopefully it will clear up some things. So I have a bunch of photo examples, and I might Google some partway through. But I'm going to show the different methods that I use most often. So let's take this for a cloud example, right? There's a blue sky, white cloud, and let's say I want the cloud. So what I'm going to do is, as long as it is a 16-bit image or less, and you can see this by going to mode in here, 32-bit images will not work on this. So you'll have to change it to 8 or 16. Keep that in mind. Anyway, so you're going to go to select color range. I'm going to click on this awesome blue sky, turn my fuzziness to full, which is 200, and showing what the selection is going to be. So all this white is going to be the selection. And the cool part is it actually feathers this out selection, so it's at different opacities. So you'll see if I keep deleting, the whole cloud actually disappears. We're not going to do that. We're going to delete it once. So color range, click, delete once. Oops, got to unlock background. I undid too far earlier. There we go. And now we have this awesome cloud that I could just drag into any other file and use. If I want, I could do another delete on it. And there's a cloud. Next, we're going to go to these praying mantises, which I think are used in. Yeah, this is a Photoshop battle that everyone wanted to see. And the way I did this was with the pen tool, and it'll work the same if you use the polygon lasso tool. I don't like the polygon lasso tool, I like the pen tool, but up to you. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to do one of them for saving time. I might even just do the torso of one. Yeah, I'm just going to do the torso of this guy to save time, just to show you the point. So I'm going to cut his torso right here. What the pen tool is, you're going to make these little points, and you're just going to go along them, right? And I'm sure a lot of you do know how to do this. It's just you end up with these lines afterwards that may not be, exactly how you want them. I'm going to ignore these spikes for now, just because they're not really needed. The other thing is, you could spend the time cutting out those spikes, but you have to wonder at some point, if anyone's going to notice those spikes missing or not. Because if you don't think it's worth the effort to get the small detail like that, then by all means you could skip it and your photo will look just fine in the end. So things like that are important to keep in mind. So we're going around his head. And as you can see, I'm just trying to get where the edge of the mantis meets its background. And this photo, see how it's all pixelated like that? And there's a lot of similar colors going throughout the whole photo. That means that the selection in the way that we did it on the cloud, it's not going to work very well, because it's going to delete a lot of parts of the mantis, since that color is a lot like parts of the wing and stuff like that. So when you start a project, you have to decide what one of these methods that I'm using right now, I'm going to show you a few, is the best method for it. And most of the time, it seems, you have to use a combination of the methods. So anyway, we're almost done cutting them out. I'm trying to avoid as much of this terrible pixel stuff. I don't know if you can tell, but there's these really distorted pixels that I was trying to point out. Anyway, we're just about done with our cool mantis. And we're going to do a selection. That's by Command-Enter to transform that into a selection. And Command-Shift-I inverses that selection, and we're going to delete everything around it. And then you can feather it by going to Select, Modify, Feather. And what this is going to do is it's going to fuzz up the selection and make it delete a fuzzy line, like when you feather your brush per se. And since this is a fairly low res image, I'm only going to feather it a half pixel and delete again. So as you can see, that got rid of a lot of the extra stuff. And then just to top it off, if you go to Layer, Matting, Defringe, and defringe it by a pixel. I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to keep on doing that step. But it got rid of like all these little parts that were hard to get. So in the end, you end up with like this really nicely cut out figure. And that works in, this method will work on virtually anything with sharp lines. So that's really nice. So now we're going to get to this, which was just like a white and black photo, right? And there's two things you could do. There's two main ways you could do this. Is with the magic wand, where you click a color, and it deletes out that color, like that. Or you like click all the black, and it deletes out the black. But the easiest way is going to be to do this is the way we did it before, where it was the color range. You select it, and you just delete that color, and you can hit a delete a few times because it's just going to refine its edges of the selection a little bit more. Then you're left with this vector per se of just the black figures, and that's just going to be the fastest way to do it. There's really not much more to that. It's a lot like the cloud we did earlier. So now we're going to get to this. Yeah, we'll do this one first. And this is a more advanced technique, and it's for, let's say, like, see all this hair? I want to try to preserve as much of this hair as I can, and I'm not going to sit there and pen out all of that, because that's miserable. No one ever wants to do that. And as you can see, if I were to do it like this, where hang on, let me change the image type to, oh yeah. If I were to do the select range or whatever, see, it's deleting the face. And like, I guess you can, you know, kind of do it like that and copy the image on different layers and bring the face back and whatnot, but I'm going to try to save steps, kind of. And there's a way to do this where you go into channels. So right here on your layers, there's this tab called channels. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to turn on one channel at a time. And what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for the channel with the highest contrast between the white background and her curly hair. So that's the red channel. Green channel. Green channel has better contrast, so green is the winner right now. And blue is too shiny looking. Yeah, so I'm going to do the green channel. And I'm going to duplicate this channel, call it green copy, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to turn it on. And the only channel I'm going to have on right now is the green channel. Next, I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Levels with the green channel selected. And I'm going to make her hair black. And I'm going to make the background as white as possible. That looks good. Her hair's all black. See how her hair's this nice solid black? I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm literally just going to grab a paintbrush that's black and paint over her. And if you can't tell what we're doing so far, we're going to turn her into one of like the images we did before, where it was like the picture of all the people clapping or whatever. And we're just going to do something like that. There we go. Now, with this same layer selected, we're going to select the color range of white, like that. And it makes a selection of just the white. We're going to turn on all the other channels. We're going to delete the channel we created, go to Layers, and delete. And what we're left with are these perfectly little cutout hairs. And what you might need to do is go to Image, or no, Layer, Matting, Defringe. That could help. It just depends on what your background is and everything, so you'll have to mess with that a little. So that's an extremely useful tool for hair especially. It gets really difficult though when it's like blonde hair and a light background and stuff, but it's really useful. It'll help you a lot, and I find this is not very well known, to my knowledge. In a lot of magazines or just photos and advertisements, you'll see the people, they won't do stuff like this. They'll just pen them out and it doesn't look very good. Anyway, this is another example of how you could use the color range to your advantage, where it's just like the fire. And you could delete away at it until you're just left with the fire. So I deleted multiple times just to get the fire. And then you could just bring out the eraser tool and erase away what you don't need, and you're left with this awesome fire. And you just have to, like, look at the images and look at the best way to approach them. For this one, I want to see if I can fix it up a little bit more than what it's at, because it has like this blue around it, and I'm not really a huge fan of it. Try to defringe it. That helped. The defringe helped. Another way you could do it is you could go into mask, and since it's a cloud and this can be fluffy anyway, you could take a nice big soft brush, hardness 0, and just kind of, brush away at the edges, since it is a cloud. This works since it's like, a nice big fluffy thing. Doesn't really need hard edges or anything, Doesn't have hard edges. And it'll look the same, like you'll see if I put a background behind it. Let's get like a nice, let's make a green sky, so then if there is blue, you can at least kind of see it, right? Make the brush big so I don't have to do it. So you can see that cloud doesn't really have any more green around it, or blue around it, my bad. And, it just looks really good by itself. So, hopefully these all help. Some of the things I didn't really go over were the click selection, which lets you make a selection based on what's around it. Probably want to sample all layers when you do this, depending on what you want. I don't like this method. You have to click add and minus and kind of get it to do exactly what you want. I'm not very fond of it. You might like it, but I usually find it more frustrating than productive. You can erase, but I would never ever do that. I would just use a layer mask if you wanted to do something that way. And there was the polygon tool. Yeah, here it is. The polygon tool, it's virtually the pen tool, but without little dots as anchors, and I'm not really a fan of it. If you're going to use the polygon tool, you might as well use the pen tool, because there's no real advantage to the polygon tool except being fast and sloppy. But anyways, I hope this helped in some ways, and if there's any questions, I can answer them. Anyways.